Good morning, Rabbi Sai. We don't do it too loud because, tomorrow we won't be able to get the shir here. All right, Yishkoich, we're live in Lincolnwood with a million of people. Hayoim, Achadus Hayoim, Shem Shavua, Achad, Va'arba'a Yomim, La'omer, or some people say La'omer. Spirit Ha'omer, L'Refuas Ha'admor, Mevision Shlita, K'fay Dushas Martin, Rabbi Yisrael ben Leah Eser, L'Refuah Shlema. Mush Frond. Howdy, 2 years ago was the first time I completed Sefira, and the reminders were very clear, and I visualized the number during the day, and at night I'd used the MDY Sefira reminder, which had a big number, and then I would remember for the next 24 hours. I found myself having a harder time this year, remember which day of the Sefira was, come to the realization that MDY reminders just words on it, asking you, Bekitzer. I'm reading this Moshe Freund, just the Olam, a lot of people, it's one of their first or second times that they're doing the entire sphere with us. So Yishkoch to all those behind the scenes who make the art, chulu v'chulu. Rebelli, I had a special chus to learn today's daf b'chavrusa with the Balak Torres himself, Rabbi Yoel Gold. As we were both at the same Pesach program, Miza Balabas, and Rabbi Yoel as a featured speaker. He's Zoicha. What a speaker, unbelievable. On Pesach, I said over the story about the Torres. Shmuel, you were there. Who's there? You weren't there, Simi? Next year? Yeah, put you on the spot. We struggle to understand the exact mitzias of kishu metiva doichakoi klape pia. Came late to the Motzi Chag Chometz Fresarai, so we could watch a shir and understand the exact peshat in the Gemara. Thank you, Rebelli, Mark, and Team MDY for working so hard to post the shir before Yontiv. Talmud Torah, Koidim L'Chometz, Best, Naftali Palchik, and Rabbi Yoel Gold, Yishur Koyach. Morocco trip, Rabbi Sai, deadline to book this Tuesday. If we haven't contacted you and you're eligible, $30,000, please reach out to Yossi or Mark ASAP. Trip dates, Sunday, May 10th to Sunday, May 17th. We're locking everything in, so we need to know. It's not much coming up. Wow, it's less than a month. Spotted an MDY seen making Kiddush Hashem doing the daf on his flight back from Orlando today. I was told when I showed this picture earlier today in the Hebrew shirt that he did not know that this picture was taken as of the shir. Miami's back on full throttle. Please be on Tzvi. Oh, I saw I got a message from him. I have to look what is. We need a larger room over there. This is the number 1 satellite location, MDY Beis Medrash, a full house there. And a satellite location in Kiryat Ata. Benny, as I'm not there, so he goes around almost every day. He goes to another satellite location. This is one of the 34 locations in Eretz Yisrael that do it live. Shmak. So Eliyahu Gegola, his son won 2 raffles, $1,000, like a 12-year-old, $1,000, and also at the Malav Malki, won something big. I don't remember what it was. 2 good ones. All right, the official edition of the MDY Shas Masechta by the Iranian Levi families, Perik Anonymous with gratitude to Hashem, Daf Tzadik Beis, Isaac Cement, in honor of Itchy and Gitti. David Salomon sponsors, is a corporate sponsor, our only corporate sponsor. David Salomon, you could have more. Dedicated in memory of Avi Moiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch, Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiz, Rechon L'Racha, Joel Gedalis, Linish Mas, my father, Jack Gedalis, Anonymous, Atzlach Baruch, Ziv Gashmiz, the Palchik Family Foundation, Zech Mas, Harav Agoyin, Reb Shlomo Palchik, the Message Ilui, Anonymous, Refuah Shlema, Lamosh Ben Izah, Anonymous for complete Refuah Shlema, and Arichas Yom, to Leah Bas Esther, Yisrael Malki, Toilet Taras, Bicham Avizov, Chesav, we're so proud of Yaakov Mordechai, keep steiging. Cindy Gross and family, Canby Island, UK, in honor of Rebelli, who changed my meaning of life. Plenty of money, Yossi, Mark, and Benny, and all the Oiskim Tzorchim Diwai, because Baruch Shalom Schara. Monthly sponsor, Ari Simon, Refuah Shlema, of Imori Baruch Ben Miriam. These buttons are working slow today. Weekly sponsors Anonymous in honor of Rebelli, Mark Ashkenazi, and the entire MDY crew who do not slow down for a second. Ishkoyach, MDY Art, Refuah Shlema, Yonatan Eitim ben B'Shav Brachol, Refuah Shlema Mordechai ben Esther, Refuah Sayel Daniel Zeh ben Ayel Tester. We're starting a new sugi today. We are going through the Menachos and all the Karbanas and different things that go together. We had the Minchas Nesachim that goes together with different Karbanas. We spoke about the oil, the flour, the wine. Now, today, all day, we're going to be speaking about smicha. What's smicha? For those of you who it's your first day with MDY, smicha means to put your full body weight on the head of the animal, and you say vidui. So says the Mishnah, Kol karbanis hatzibur ein behem smicha. There's only two exceptions to the rule. All communal karbanis do not require smicha. Chutz min hapara ba'al hamitzvos v'sar hamishtalech. Para ba'al hamitzvos, in this context, we'll have later Par Ba'al Mitzvah referring to something else, but Rashi over here says Par Ba'al Mitzvah is referring to Par Helam Davar. What's Par Helam Davar? Par Helam Davar is when Bezdin, the Sanhedrin, make a mistake, and they say that the halacha is you're allowed, for instance, to eat a particular type of chaylev, not all chaylev. They say this fat of the animal is mutter when in fact it's aser, and most of Klal Yisrael doesn't. So you have to bring one bull. Par Helam Davar, we have a video here. It's above and beyond this video. Like usually video, we only do videos for pshat. This is like a little bit more than pshat.
Give me a bull!
Par Helam Davar.
Oh, who does the smicha on the Par Helam Davar? The Sanhedrin.
Hey.
I don't know. Okay. If you know, you know. What the guy, the Tzedlich guy, the Batshkevilan guy in Eretz Yisrael. Okay? So there are two. The Par Haba al HaMitzvos, the Par Helam Davar, the Sanhedrin has to do the smicha. B'sar HaMishtalech. We're going to see that it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai that there's two. So you have to choose which two. So Rabbi Yehuda, we're going to see, this is the Tanakama, like Rabbi Yehuda, that says Par Helam Davar, and also the Sar HaMishtalech. It's the goat, that on Yom Kippur there's two goats. One gets shechted and the blood goes into we do Zrikas Adam inside, and the other one gets thrown off a cliff. I'll show you the video later on, because I don't want to show video back-to-back videos like that. That one is more of it's a geschmack video, but it's too much video for back-to-back. Reb Shimon Oimer, Avsar Avodah Zarah. You'll retroactively remember the video that I'm going to show you towards the bottom of the Amud, and we'll just break it up a little bit. Reb Shimon Oimer, Avsar Avodah Zarah. So Sar Avodah Zarah is very, very similar to Par Helam Davar. It's when the Sanhedrin make a mistake, and they say you could do Avodah Zarah. So Klal Yisrael goes ahead, and they do Avodah Zarah, so you bring a goat. So Reb Shimon switches the Sar HaMishtalech with the Sar of Avodah Zarah. It's a different type of goat. On that goat, you have to do smicha. And we're going to see in the Gemara, I don't think anybody argues that the smicha must be done by somebody that's involved, that somebody that's an owner, not stam representative. And that's a theme throughout smicha. You can't do smicha for your friend, you can't do smicha for a partner. You have to be involved. So, kol karbanos hayachetun smicha, every single carbon of an individual requires smicha. Chutz min habachar v'hamaiser v'hapesach. These are the three that we had yesterday that don't require nesachim. These are the three, they always go together, the bchar, the meiser, the firstborn, the 10th animal of the newborns, and the carbon pesach. Those do not require smicha. B'hayoresh, somebody who inherited a carbon, a noiler shlamim. I missed this one. This is the story I wanted to tell you. Gotta say it here. Yisrael Goldstein, daily sponsor, my sister-in-law, Dino Bas Yafim Aleh Shalom, tragically passed away on Chalamoid at a young age of 43. So this is a crazy story. Yisrael Goldstein, his sister-in-law was just nifteres at 43. But this comes after her husband was nifter when I think she was pregnant with her only child. You know the story? This kid is like he's like a teenager. He's 17 years old. He's the only child, and he just lost his mother, mamish now. She was 43. And his father, he never got to know his father. Crazy story. Okay? Very heart-wrenching. It's a big tragedy. Okay. So how do you know the story? What's the story?
I work with another Goldstein.
When was she nifter? Mamish now?
2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Right after Pesach. After Pesach. Mamish, crazy. One kid, Chalamayit, he says. One kid, and they were both nifter. One was 43, and the other one must have been in his 20s. Maybe she had a lot of tsar, a lot of heartache all those years. Yeah, one kid. All right, so Hayirish, Soimechu Mevi. Oh, we're talking about Yirish. The Yirish, his father is nifter, leaving over an oila, a shlamim. So now what does he do? He has to bring the oila, the shlamim, to the Beis Hamikdash. He takes over instead of his father, and he has to do the smicha that his father would have done. Maybe nesachim, and he has to spend with his own money. Even he has to bring the nesachim that we spoke about yesterday, the oil, the flour, the wine. Umeimer. He also has the right to do tmura. Tmura, we all know, means that if he finds, let's say, a better, nicer animal, he says, my father left over a shvach animal. I want to give a real animal to the Beis Hamikdash. So he goes ahead and he says, this one is instead of this. That's asur. That's tmura. But he could do it. Why does it take effect? Because he's the Irish. He's instead. So I saw a very interesting shiloh. When the father who died was blind, somebody who's blind doesn't do smicha. So now he dies. Does the son do smicha? What does the Olam say? Does the son do smicha? His father wouldn't have done smicha. Now that his father died, he could see, so maybe he should do smicha. Does he take the shoes of his father? He's exactly, instead of his father couldn't do smicha? Or is like a new thing? What do you guys say? He has to do smicha. You said he has to do smicha. And if, what? In the gavra or the... Right, but that's mamish like the lashon that we said yesterday, that nimsa, that the tafel is chomer min ha'ikar. The Yerush was the tafel. He has a bigger chomer than the main part, the main guy who died. He didn't have to do smicha. What about if he yarshins his mother? Yarshins the mother. The mother left over shlamim, and he yarshin. The mother wouldn't do smicha because she's a woman. Okay. Oh, so you're saying you're making a nafkamina now?
Yes, I am, sure.
Wow, it's a chiddush gadol.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't even have that option. I said it's either yes or no on both, and you're saying yes on one, no on the other. By the mother, not because it never started being, but also it never had when this guy was blind the whole time when he. It's a technical thing. Very lumdish. I hear. There's a story, I don't know if it's true. I'm saying over the story because I want somebody to write in and tell me if they heard this Maisa. That the Brisker Rav, actually no, Reb Chaim, he shaved. This doesn't sound right, but okay, he shaved. And somebody said, your father doesn't shave. How come you shave? Well, he's a bacher. So he says, I go, because it was like a shtach, like, because in Brisk, everything's like the father, like the tata. So he said, I don't go by the tata, I go by the mama. So my mother doesn't shave. She does shave, or she doesn't need to shave. I don't know what he meant. Anyway, if anybody knows the Maisa, no, you never heard this Maisa?
Maybe he grew a beard and his father shaved, and he said he holds like his mother.
Well, what? He grew a beard.
And his father used to shave as a doctor. That's how I heard the story. And he said, I hold like my mother who doesn't shave.
Yeah, you're making up a Maisa now. He wanted, they said you should be like your father and shave because your father used to shave. It's bacher. He's not, I hold like my mother and I don't shave. I hear. That makes more sense, Taka. Who knows? All right, Zog the Gemara. Torah Rabbanon. Kol korbanos hatzibur ein behem smicha. So now we're just going to go through the Mishnah, what we just learned. What's interesting about these sugyas is that you don't really have any like tifa, lomdish stuff. It's more on the easy side, we'll call it. Limudim. Kol korbanos hatzibur ein behem smicha chutz mepara ba kol ha-mitzvos. The community korbanos, you don't do smicha besides two. The parhelim davar, the sira avodah the Reb Shimon, that was the second sheet in the Mishnah. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says parhelim davar and avodah zara, like the two averas that the Bezdin forgot about, and they gave the wrong psak. They made a mistake. Not forgot, they made a mistake. On those two, you have to do smicha. Reb Yehuda Omer sira avodah zara ein behem smicha. Wrong. Only one out of the two that you said I agree with, and that is the parhelim davar. I don't agree with the sira avodah zara. Oh, if so, vesmi avi tachtem. You need two. And now that I took out one out of your two, I only have one. Sara mishtalech. It must be the sar la zazel. You know what? Let's show it now. Why not? Here, sar la mishtalech. A beautiful piece. You do a gairol. One is Lashem. One is Lazazel. Smicha. And now he does the vidui. Onav Hashem, Kaper no lahunas. Shoyim l'chatorim shechotu. We're going to learn some new halachas that we haven't spoken about in a while. You know about this string, this red string? What happens to the red string? Oh. Gewaldig. Okay. So says the Gemara, so instead, one is parhelim davar, you do smicha, the other one is sar ha-mishtalech, the sar la-azazel, but not the sar avodah zara. As the Gemara l'isagid l'mayel, who told Rabbi Yehuda need two? He was forced to bring a second one, sar ha-mishtalech, because otherwise you don't have two. Omer Avinu, gemir shtei smichas b'tzibur. Yes, he was forced because we have a Kabbalah. We received it from Halach l'Moshe Sinai for generations, that there's two that require smicha. Now, which two? It can't be the one that you're saying, Reb Shimon, the one of avodah zara. So I must stick in another one, the sar la-azazel. Omar le Reb Shimon, v'aloyin smicha b'baylim. The one on the rock turns white. He asked me a question. Omar le Reb Shimon, v'aloyin smicha ela b'baylim. V'ze'aron u'banav soimchem boy. He says, Reb Shimon asks, I don't understand. In order for there to be smicha, to be considered smicha, the two, you're considering the sa'ir of avodah zara. That's not the owner. You need an owner. It's Aaron Ubanav Soimchim Boy. So there is smicha, he's saying, but it's not the smicha we're looking for. We're looking for two smichas that are done by the owner, not a smicha that's done for vidui. It's not true. They are considered owners because they themselves get a kapara. And now we go through a little bit of a sugi here, like a 15, 20 line sugi, just to prove that Aaron gets, what is mechaper Aaron? So we have a machlokes. I'll just tell you the bottom line after everything. The bottom line is, there's a machlokes, is it the sar, does all of Klal Yisrael get a kapara for regular averis, from the sar hamishtalech, or do they get a kapara from, or they split it? Klal Yisrael gets from the sar, but the kohanim get from the par. Yeah? Is it? Rav Yehuda says, everybody, Yisraelim, Leviim, kohanim, they all get only from one carbon, from this one that you throw off the cliff. That gives a kapara for all the averis, regular averis. Whereas Reb Shimon says no. The Yisraelim get it from the goat that is thrown off, the azazel, but the kohanim get a kapara on all the averis from something else, from the par. That's a big nafkamina, because we're saying, where is the ownership here? Do they have who has ownership in this goat? Do the kohanim have ownership or not? It depends if they get a kapara or not. The Sanya. We learned the keeper is Migdash HaKodesh. So we're talking about something called Tumas Migdash V'Kedashav. Tumas Migdash V'Kedashav, you might not see it or understand it from this video. It's a little different, maybe. But the idea is that if a kohen, let's say, could be anybody, Israel also, is tamei, let's say he stepped on a mouse. And he knew that he stepped on a mouse, but then he forgot. And then he went into the Beis HaMikdash. So if he went into the Azara, or went into the Heichal, or went into Kodesh HaKadoshim, he gets a kapara from this bull. The bull on Yom Kippur, that gives the kapara. So, well, sorry, it depends. Yisrael gets from the goat, Kohen gets from the bull. So, but he forgot about it when he went in. Yeah, he knew about it to begin with. He had an idea betchila, and then he forgot about it basoif. So the sanya of Chibers Migdash HaKodesh zelefnai v'lefnim. I thought I did something over here. Oh, yeah. Stam to show the words. The Migdash HaKodesh is lefnai v'lefnim. It's Kodesh HaKadoshim. He went in there. V'esoyel moyed ze heichal. So the second part of the second line over here, Oil Moed is talking about that he went in to the Heichal, the Tumah. Mizbeach kimashmai. He touched Mizbeach. You know, let me just show you this. Why am I here? This Yoshi did. Dead mouse. This is on the Mizbeach. Becomes Tamei. Heichal. But the pshat is, it doesn't matter where he touched the mouse. It could be touched it outside of the Beis HaMikdash also. The point is that when he went in, he forgot. He knew for a second and he forgot. This is in Kodesh HaKadoshim. This is already the Aron, you can see on the side, the Kruvim, okay. V'kriber es Migdash HaKodesh zelefnai v'lefnim. Zoy moed heichal. Mizbeach kimashmoi. Yichaper elo azaris. Kohanim kimashmoi. Now, let's go back to this pasuk for a second. Here. So there's two yichapers. There's the first yichaper is talking about the Azara. V'al kohanim is talking about kohanim. V'al kol kal, al kol kala, al kol amakohol el Yisrael. Referring to Yisrael. Yichaper. Oh, so this is tricky. This is tricky. Yichaper elu halavim, not this word, but Yichaper is levim. Hushvu kulon lekapara achas. This is where it gets tricky. Not super tricky, but now we're talking about Hushvu kulon kapara achas is referring to shar averis, other averis, not the tumas mikdash. We just jumped from the pasuk is talking about tumas mikdash v'kedashav, and now we're talking about Hushvu kulon kapara achas, that all the averis, not tumas mikdash v'kedashav, they all get a kapara from one thing. So, but tumas mikdash v'kedashav, everybody agrees. There's no machlokes, not Rabbi Yehuda, not Rabbi Shimon. We'll see here in this chart right over here that there's no machlokes, that both according to Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, the Yisrael gets the kapara from the goat, and the kohanim get the kapara from the par in tumas mikdash v'kedashav. Just what? They have a machlokes. I don't know if you could see here. So if you look all the way to the left, the whole machlokes is in that circled red, and it's in shara averis. In other words, tumas mikdash v'kedashav, we're going to split up. Yeah? What's Tumas Mikdash Kedusha? A person whose Tamei went into the Beis Hamikdash, doesn't matter where, the Mizbech, the Heichal, and he doesn't know about it. He still doesn't know about it. Because when he finds out about it, he'll bring a carbon. But until he finds out about it, it could be 10 years, we don't want something to happen to him. So he gets a special kapara if he's a Kayan through the bull, and if he's a Yisrael, he gets a special kapara. It's not a kapara, it's a protection. Until he finds out that he did it. And the Yisrael gets it from the goat, the Sar Lazaz. But when it comes to Shara Veiros, so according to Rabbi Yehuda, Yisrael and Kayan are equal. They get the kapara from the goat that flies off the mountain. According to Rabbi Shimon, no. The same way I have an afkamina in Tumas Mikdash Kedusha, that Yisrael gets kapara from one thing and the Kayan gets from a second thing, so too in all other Averis. Lashon Hara, Ritzicha, whatever it is, but the Zara, get a kapara, the Yisrael gets the kapara from the goat, and the Kayan gets the kapara from the bull. Now let's see inside. The Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, like on top of this chart, by Shara Aveiros, there's one kapara for everybody. There's no discrimination. Kohanim Yisraelim get the same kapara from the same animal. No. Just like you made an afkamina when it comes to Tumah, that the Kohen gets a kapara from a bull and the Yisrael gets a kapara from a goat. Or so too, the vidui, the Kohen says by the Sar Lazazel, gives a kapara for all Averas. Now I'm going to split it up also. The Kohen doesn't get the vidui, the kapara from the Sar Lazazel. He gets a kapara from the par. Says Reb Shimon, just like by Tumas Mikdash Kedusha, it's different to Yisrael and a Kohen, so too by all Averos. Ask the Gemara, Reb Shimon, Havadei Hushvu. What do you mean? Everybody gets a kapara? The last, look at the pasuk. It says all the way at the end, Yichaper. And that teaches us that everybody gets a kapara. The Kohanim, the Israelim. So says the Gemara, yeah, in Hushvu the kapara. The pasuk just tells us they get a kapara. It doesn't say how to get a kapara. Everybody gets a kapara in different ways, says Reb Shimon. You get a kapara with a bull, I get a kapara with a goat. Now, so let's just go back here for a second. So Mamela, that's what he's saying. That if I get a kapara, if a Kohen gets a kapara with something, the Kohen gets a kapara with a goat, so then he's a bailam in the goat. Then he could do smicha. If he doesn't get kapara with a goat, then he can't do smicha with it. Now, Rabbi say we have a freebie. We have 12 lines that is just a repetition, and some people say that it's not even the Amoraim that wrote this. This is already later generations. The Rabbanan Savroi stuck it in. It's just a recap of what we just learned. The Rabbi Huda, Tumas Mikdash Kedusha Yisrael Mechaper B'Dam Sar Hanas B'Finim Kohanim Parashal Aaron. Let's just keep this on the board for a second. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Tumas Mikdash, according to everybody really, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, Tumas Mikdash Kedosh of Yisrael Mikaper B'Dam Sar Hanas B'Finim Kohanim Parashal Aaron. There's a nafkamina between how you get a kapara for Tumah. The goat gives the kapara to the Yisrael, the bull gives the kapara to Aaron. And Rabbi Yehuda says there's only one nafkamina between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda. That in Shara Veiros, Rabbi Yehuda says that everybody gets a kapara from the goat. Well, Rabbi Shimon, there he argues, like you see in the red dotted line. Rabbi Shimon, there's a nafkamina between Yisrael and a Kohen, that the Yisrael gets a kapara from the goat that flies off the mountain, and according to and the Kohanim get a kapara from the bull. Oh, Kidiktani, Echad Yisrael Echad Kohanim. Now what? They have a kapara from the Azazel, the Kohen Mashiach, even the Kohen Gadol. Ma ben Yisrael Kohanim Kohen Mashiach. What is the difference between a Kohen and a Yisrael? Rabbi Yehuda says that the only difference is in the Tumah, that the Yisrael gets from the goat and the Kohen gets from a bull. But in all Averis of the Torah, they all get from the goat. Yeah, this is all Chazar, yeah? Reb Shimon says, "Kishem shedam asar hanaz b'fnim mechabal Yisrael, kach dam apor mechabal kohanim." Just like there's an afkemina in tuma that the tuma a kohen gets a kapar from a bull and Yisrael gets a kapar from a goat. Kishem shevidu Yisrael mishtaleach. Mechaber al Yisrael kach v'dim shapar mechabal kohanim. Okay, so that is the chazar that we just did. So too, he says that there's an afkemina that all averis the Yisrael gets a kapar from a goat and a kohen from a bull. Toner Rabban. This is referring to the parallel davar, the smicha. Parton smicha ben sir avedizar to smicha the Rebuda. Rebuda says that the avedizar goat does not require smicha. Yeah. Reb Shimon Oimer parton smicha b'skenim ben sir avedizar to smicha b'skenim ela ba'aron. So this is what you need to remember for the next 25 seconds. That according to Reb Shimon, who does the smicha on the avedizar goat? Aaron. Who's Aaron? The kohen gadol. Brother, Shalom Aleichem. Okay. And you live here in Chicago? I don't see you around. What's your name? From where? Ah, you have that gold look, Taco. Yeah, then we'll just turn it around so the island knows what I'm talking about. Say Shalom Aleichem, yo. Okay, go, not yo gold, sour, Rabbi Sour. Okay, Givaldi. Alfi Shalom Aleichem. Okay, great. So Zog the Gemara. So Nochamal. Reb Shimon says that the Avodah Zarah goat gets smicha by Aaron, meaning the Kohen Gadol. Every generation, it's Aaron, the Kohen Gadol. And not who? Not the Sanhedrin, not the Skenim. So we're going to have a contradiction because in a second we're going to see he says it's the Skenim and not Aaron. That's the whole contradiction. Uramino contradiction says by Hachai. Hachai means the Sar Lazazel. There's one that you shecht in the Beis Hamikdash and one that's alive for now, for the next 10 minutes until you throw him off a cliff. He's Chai. He's Azazel. Hachai ton smicha. The Azazel requires smicha. Veintzir avedizar tun smicha. The Rebbe says that the avedizar goat doesn't get a smicha. What's the avedizar goat? When Klai Yisrael does avedizar because the Sanhedrin told him to do so, you bring a goat. No smicha. Reb Shimon Oimer, here it goes. Chai ton smicha ba'arin. The Azazel requires smicha by the Kohen Gadol. Contradiction. A second ago, we said that according to Reb Shimon, it's the Skenim, the Aaron, and now we're saying it's Skenim. Which one is it? Before anybody screams, I'm not going to let you say it. Oh, turning the daf. Adar Global Experts in Cross-Border Payments. You were supposed to go. What are you doing here? Please read a shidduch today because every shidduch that happened was first read. Did anybody read a shidduch in the last month? Anybody? No? Please read a shidduch. On Yontif, you got to see people. You got to think about people. You got to do something. Noirevayim the matzah. It's mamish a curse. So what do we do with this contradiction? That according to Reb Shimon, who does the smicha on the Avodah goat? Is it either, you have two options. In one place he says it's Aaron, and the other one, in other words, the Kohen Gadol, and over here he says it's the Skenim, it's the Sanhedrin. We have a problem to begin with. The whole first brace is off. Once it's off, we're just going to say that it means the Skenim, and Mela, everything lines up, it's all Skenim. How could you say that Avodah is b'koyin? Reb Shimon says you need the owner. So it can't be a kohen, it needs an owner. Binan. Elatar tzachi. Right? Smicha, you need an owner. And if it's the kohen gadol, he's not the owner. So it doesn't work. Now why is Skenim better? So we'll see in a second. Elatar tzachi. Hapar ton smicha, veintzir Avodah ton smicha. The Rebuda. Reb Shimon Oimer, Hachai. In other words, the Sar Hamshtalech, the Sar Lazazel. Chai ton smicha ba'aron. Veintzir Avodah ton smicha ba'aron. El b'skenim. We're going to correct the brisa and say that the first brisa says Skenim, and therefore it lines up with the second brisa that says Skenim. Well, let me ask you a question. Got a problem over here. How come we took out Koyanim? Because the Koyan is not an owner. Smicha has to be done by an owner. Nu and Sanhedrin, they're the owners. How's Sanhedrin better than a Kohen Gadol? Oh, so for this we need to see Taisus, top Taisus. I'm just throwing it on the screen here. It's like 3 lines down. 2 lines from the end of Taisvis. V'ha d'chashivi skenim ba'aylam, av api sheyesh par v'sar lebezdin b'fnei atzom, kivin ha'idei nasa chet korlu ba'aylam. Says Taisvis, a big chiddush here. That they're considered owners because they were very involved. They were the ones that created the whole mess to begin with. They're the ones that told Klal Yisrael to do the Aveira, to do the Avodah Zarah. They have to take ownership, so to speak. They have to fess up to their chet, and they're involved. They're owners. Says Gemara, like 7 lines from the top. The Avodah Zarah goat requires smicha. And if you ever heard that it doesn't, it's that the Kohen Gadol doesn't have to do smicha. Fine, but in fact, the skenim have to do it, and he got it from the word hachai, not from the par, from hachai. Rabbi Yehuda, why do I need to exclude the Avodah Zarah goat from a pasuk? So that's a little bit. That's pretty much our sugya. Like we started on Amud Aleph saying that there's a halacha l'meish Sinai. There's only 2 korbanos that belong to the community that require smicha. No, and you already established. Okay, the parallel davar is a given. That's nobody argues on that one. So what's the argument? Is it the sar la'azazel or the sar of Avodah Zarah? So you, Rabbi Yehuda, hold that it's the sar la'azazel. So automatically it's not the sar of Avodah Zarah. So then why do you need a pasuk to say that it's not the sar of Avodah Zarah? It can only be 2, can't be 3. So once I know it's parallel davar and azazel, so I know it's not Avodah Zarah. So why do I need a special pasuk? Says Gemara, you're right, you don't need. Girsa b'alma. The psukim are just there for a hint, to help you along, to give you an asmachta, to make you feel good. Here's a little bit of a raya from the Torah. Not to make you feel good, here's a raya from the Torah. It's not a real raya. It's like a remez in the Torah. Reb Shimon, and how does he know that Avodah Zarah needs smicha? Don't worry about it. Who's that? Mark Ashkenazi? Texting you in the middle? There's not such a geschmack house for Einiklach, no? The soda on the floor. The new houses, it's like a problem. You gotta be chilled, relaxed. Is there one room that they're not allowed to go into? Oh yeah, the pool. No pool. I'm just the mikveh, the wine. It says the nasi, the king. He should put his hand on the soyer. The rabbi's soyer nachshin smicha. Nachshin, the nasi. He does smicha. By the Nasim, right? The 12 Nasim, they brought korbanos, the smicha. There was once a Rav, they got up. He says, Rabbi Isai, you got to be the first one to jump into things. We see from Gershon ben Aminadav, when he jumped into the water, it's mamish, he what? Gershon ben Aminadav, he jumped in. He jumped into the water. He jumped into the water. And what? He did buy into it. Mamish. You're not the only one that bought into it. Here. I'll make you feel good. And they also said, so anyways, you here for the English or the Hebrew, Reb Zalman? That was, how many hours ago? Like 9 hours ago. Okay, Akabarim, so he says, so Gershon goes into the water. He goes deep. All of a sudden, he sees his brother there. Nachshon, what are you doing here? He says, oh, he was making a whole cheshbon. Should he jump? Should he not jump? Is it dangerous? Not jump? He got in. He was second. So nobody will ever know about Gershon ben Aminadav. They only know about Nachshon. The way you say the story is that everybody starts screaming, Nachshon. Yeah, it's part of it. You help me out. So the point is that a lot of times people make these cheshbonos. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Just do it. If it's the right thing to do, be the Gershon, be the Nachshon, not the Gershon. I say it all now. The only thing that comes to my mind is Well, obviously you guys do the daf, etc. Most of you. But if you have that feeling, oh, should I do it? Jump in and do it. What are you going to lose? You might learn a daf, 2 daf in your life. But also, beneged to opening up a satellite location. It takes people that jumped in and did it. They have tremendous hana, sipuk, siyata d'shmaya. You jump in, you do it. Get other people to learn. The rabbi saw nachshin l'smicha divrei Yehuda. Shimon Oimer, the rabbi see Rabbi Dezara l'smicha. Here, so you ask me, how does he know? How does Reb Shimon know that the goat of Rabbi Dezara requires smicha? Here from this pasuk. V'samach yoda reish asar. Rabbi Yehuda is learning that's referring to the Nesiim, and Rabbi Shimon says no, it's referring to the Rabbi Dezara. So Rabbi Shimon Oimer kol chatas shenichnas dama lifnim. Any chatas that the blood goes inside the heichal, tuna smicha. Ask the Gemara, so if you paid attention, just, I should have pointed it out. We could just read it again. Shahaya Reb Shimon Oimer kol chata shenichnas dama lefnim tuna smicha. Right? 8 words ago. Shahaya Reb Shimon Oimer. Or, I don't know, 11 words ago. What's Shahaya? Well, he used to say, at Geflekt Zogin, Reb Shimon used to say, Kol chatas shenichnas dama. Any chatas that the blood goes into the heichal requires smicha. Lamali lememer shahaya. There's only 3 really. There's the helam, paralam davar, the kohen Mashiach, and Avodah Zarah. All those we took care of. The paralam davar, the kohen Mashiach, we have psukim. The Avodah Zarah, he has a limud. So why does he have to say it? What's this? What does he be mechadish in his memra? Says Gemara Simona Balma. It's basically just to say that the not like you, Rabbi Yehuda, that says that the nachshoin, the sire of a nasi requires smicha. I say no. It's only those who go who the dam is inside the heichal. Says Gemara ve'ema sire hanasa b'finim. Maybe it's referring to also the goat that's done on Yom Kippur. Says Gemara, no, it can't be the goat on Yom Kippur that's also done inside the heichal. It has to be something similar to the goat of the nasi, meaning it's an aver that you know. Whereas the sar hanasa b'fnim, as we discussed before, is talking about tumas migdash v'kedashav. Tumas migdash v'kedashav, you don't know. That's the whole point. You need a special kapara for somebody who doesn't know he sinned. So that's different. That's not included. Why do I need psukim at all? When we just said, this is the second time we're having this kind of question, if smicha is halacha l'moshe Sinai, why do I require a pasuk? Says the Gemara, I need a pasuk and I need the halacha l'moshe Sinai. I would think that the carbon of the shlamim tzibur, meaning what's the shlamim tzibur? That's the carbon we bring on Shavuos. Kikashia amasnisin dahachpirko de kol amenochas bois. So this is super interesting. There's only 2 times in the entire Shas that the Gemara brings the name of a parak, and this is one of them. It says, like the question we ask in the parak of kol amenochas bois. What do we ask there? I'm going to show you this. So anybody that did the daf with us back then will remember this. No question. Not this one, but whatever. It's not a problem to show. Does anybody remember this? So I'll explain it. What? Some of them. Yeah. So what do we have here? We have 6 things. We have 3 korbanos, 3 mitzvahs. The 3 korbanos that we have are in the center, in the middle. Each carbon takes up 2 circles. Only 2 circles, not 3. So we're trying to say here, it's an interesting way of showing it. It's not an artistic way. We have the asham, shlamim of yachad, and the shlamim of tzibur. Shlamim yachad is everybody could bring in a dav. Shlamim of tzibur is on Shavuos, and the asham of a mitzvah. Now we have 3 mitzvahs. Top right corner, smicha, that you lean on the animal. Tenufa means to wave it like a lulav when it's alive. You lift up the whole live animal. And also tenufa after it's dead, meaning the emurim, etc. From the 3 karbanos, each one only does 2 out of the 3 mitzvahs, and different 2 mitzvahs. No one of these 3 karbanos shares 3 of the mitzvahs, only 2. So take, for instance, the top one, the Asham Etzor was in the center. He has a blue circle and a green circle. Blue circle symbols the smicha, and the green is the tnufa when it's alive. Red is dead, yeah? Red, it's easy to remember now. Red is dead, green is alive, blue is smicha. The shlamim gets red and blue. What's red? You do tnufa with the shaik and the chaza, and you do smicha. And the Shalmi Tzibor, they get green and red. They do tnufa when it's alive, tnufa when it's dead. But let's say, what does the Gemara use as a raya? Shalmi Tzibor. So let's take the Shalmi Tzibor. Shalmi Tzibor has a green circle and a red circle. You do tnufa when it's live, tnufa when it's dead. So if you remember back then, in that sugya, I remember in the Samach somewhere, I think, the Gemara asks a kavachomer on all 3. If you have a green circle and a red circle, you certainly should have a blue circle. Why? Because let's say, what's the raya here? They bring it from Shlomo V'Yachid. The Shlomo V'Yachid has a blue circle and a red circle, but doesn't have a green circle. So you, the Shlomo V'Tzibur, has a green circle, certainly should have a blue circle. Every 2, you do the same exact kavachomer. If I have these 2 circles, I should definitely have the 3rd circle, because there's somebody out there that has the 3rd circle, but he doesn't have my circle. He doesn't have, the Shlomo V'Yachid doesn't have the green circle, but I have the green circle. So I certainly should have what he has, the blue. Okay, for that the Gemara answers, you don't have to know that sugya. The point is, what's the bottom line? The point is, halacha l'rosh Sinai. Each one of these mitzvahs, each one of these korbanos gets 2 mitzvahs. That's it. So let's just do it inside. What was the question they had over there? There are 3 types of korbanos that require 3 mitzvahs, and each carbon only gets 2 out of the 3, and 2 different ones. And the Gemara asks over there, we shouldn't make a kavachomer. For instance, one of the 3 kavachomers are, why do you say that the shlamim you bring on Shavuos doesn't require smicha, only requires tnufa when it's alive, green, and tnufa when it's dead, red, but not the blue circle? It should have the blue circle. What's the kavachomer? If the shlamim that an individual brings, he has the green circle, but he does not have. What does he have? He has smicha. Which one? It doesn't require tnufa when it's alive. It doesn't have a green circle, but it requires smicha. So certainly the shlamim of the tzibur should require smicha. So that's why it's hilchasa. And by us also, we have halacha l'rosh Sinai that only parallel daven of a zara, but not the shalmi tzibur. That's the halacha l'rosh Sinai. So I need halacha l'rosh Sinai to teach us these 2 and not the 3rd one. But if I only had halacha l'rosh Sinai, I wouldn't know which ones. The pasuk says that it has to be similar to the nasi, the mechaper alaveris mitzvah yedua. That just like the nasi, it's a known avera. It can't be something that doesn't have. It can't be, let's say, tumas mikdash kedusha that you don't know the avera. Okay, and that's pretty much it for today. We have another 2 minutes, but this is a super, super easy sugya. Basically, the Gemara says the word karbani 3 times, and that's going to exclude a bachar, Pesach, and Meiser. Each carbon is going to exclude 1. The word karbana teaches a not a bachar. A shlamim is just a regular animal. I look at my whole pen, I said, that one over there is going to be shlamim. He doesn't have any kedusha when it's born. Nevertheless, to him smicha, you have to do smicha. Bechar, shekdushasei mirechem. A bechar that's born, it's born kadosh. Certainly, and it didn't shatan smicha, you should have to do smicha. So for that, the Torah says, so 1 karbana comes to tell us, not a bechar. The Belzer told me 4 years ago, so I might have said it 4 years ago, I don't remember saying it. I don't remember when I said it. I remember saying it a long time ago. Told me the Belzer Rav, Zolzang Gesund, told his Einikel once, He says, you better start learning shtark, because if you don't start learning shtark, you'll chas v'sholem be a Rebbe Sheinikel. In other words, you were born, it's okay. So an animal is also kaddish, but it remains an animal. You want to remain a behema? Start learning Torah. That's what he said. I'm serious. I don't know that he said Ad Kidei you'll be a behema, but he says you're going to remain a Rebbe Sheinikel. That's all you're going to be. It's a Rebbe Sheinikel. Start learning Torah, you'll be a Talmid Chacham. So, Reb Zalman, what do you say? You're sick of Rebbe Sheinikel? No?
I'm not saying.
You're saying that somebody over there is upset at me? No. You can't walk around the whole day with your nose up in there. I'm a Rebbe Sheinikel. You got to oif to. You came to this world to oif. Zev is zeh. Oh, okay, good shmak. The guy is Rebbe Sheinikel and he's a Talmid Chacham. Okay, so now he has a mile over the other guy that's just a Talmid Chacham. But it's not because you were born into it's not a melucha. It is in a way. Okay.
Going into red territory.
What?
You're going into red territory.
Yes. I'm pushing the buttons again. Nah. Okay, so that's one korbanah. We have two more korbanos. What are we missing now? Meiser and Korban Pesach. Korbanah v'lo meiser. The meiser does not require smicha. Shlamim doesn't have any power on animals next to it, before it, after it, but it requires smicha. Meiser shemikadesh lefanav v'lachar. We saw the whole video yesterday. I'm not going to show it again. But the meiser, as you come out of the pen, and the guy gets mixed up, and he says that the ninth one is the 10th, or he says the 11th one is the 10th, all of them become kadesh. So it has power. Certainly should require smicha. Tamad leimer korbanoi. That's the second korbanoi. V'loi meiser. Meiser does not get smicha. Korbanoi v'loi pesach. It says the word korbanoi. What's smicha, Rabbi say? Smicha is to lean on the animal with all your might. Korbanoi v'loi pesach sheyochel dinu. It's about time that I explained it. No. Korbanoi. No, a guy could go the whole entire shir. Is like, oh, I got the shir. It's a beautiful shir. I just don't know what smicha is. Korbanoi v'loi pesach sheyochel dinu. I know, but maybe somebody missed that and came. Reb Zalman came late, didn't see it. Shlomim, you don't have to bring shlomim. On your own will, you decided to bring a Kosh Baruch Hu korban. Pesach b'amoid v'avei. You mechuyev to bring a korban pesach. In addition to smicha, perhaps you should have to lean on it with all your might. It's hard to remember these things. So if somebody asks you in Shasti, then you go to Shasti, what private korbanos do not require smicha? Pesach, Meiser, and Bechor. Fine, I got all three. Now, says the Gemara, great, but I could still argue, what do you bring me a raya and a kavachomer from Shlomim? That's special Shlomim, because it requires flour, oil, wine. You have to lift the chazah shaik and wave it everywhere. Bechar, Meiser, and Pesach, we just learned there's no nisachim. And there's no tnufa. So right, these three karbanos are not to teach us that Pesach, Bechar, and Meiser do not require smicha. It's like a little bit of a hint. So why do I need that? Why does the Torah have to say the word karbani? It's really extra. It doesn't need to say it 3 times. So the Gemara says I have 3 different limudim. Karbana v'lei karban chaveira. Who does smicha? The owner and not a friend. You cannot appoint somebody to do smicha for you. I guess I'm just throwing this out here. I just thought about it now because smicha not really. Maybe I shouldn't say it. But anyway, smicha comes together with vidui usually. So you're not going to do vidui for your friend, but okay. Karbana v'lei karban goy. And a guy who sends a carbon to the base of English does not require smicha. Karbanoi, the rabbis called bali carbon l'smicha, that when you have 5 partners, well, you know what, you're going through your time. Can I give you $2 to be a partner in the car? Every single one of the partners has to do smicha. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. Yishkar to the balabas.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDAF.com.